All right, well, I'm 6 sodas deep, as somebody noticed in the chat. It's about to be 7. Do you know why, Warren? Because it's Sunday! Fun day! There we go. This makes it all better. This puts a little pep in Bill's step. No more boring, tired Warren. He went to bed early, like at about 4 a.m., because that's early for Warren. And I'm here. I was up till 2. Up again. Oh, I can see my eyes are a little blurry. Up till 2. Back up at 6. Good times. Good times. Bills, I had an awesome night last night over on DraftKings, our sponsor. I took 4th in the free roll. I got a Step 1 ticket. If I get a Step 2 ticket, and then a 3, and then a Step 4 ticket, yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, totally worth it.
Fortunately, I played in a few other things, so I won a few $100, but I didn't have too many lineups out there. But Hanley treated me right, and I had a big day over there on FanDuel, so it was a good night. But I wish I would have entered some ticket qualifiers, because with that kind of a score, you could really turn the 1s and 5s and $10 satellites just across the board with a bunch of $200 tickets. So, maybe another time. How'd you do?
I did pretty well during the day. I took the night off, but yeah, I actually joined some games with a good lineup. I think I had 171 in the daytime slate, and that was good tied for first in the payoff pitch on DraftKings. So that was a lot of fun. And hey, I listened to my motto finally: stay calm and stack Blue Jays.
Yeah, that was very, very nice and very, very helpful. I had a good night, but I need to see is Hutch Boy in the chat? He needs to announce his presence. He took me down last night.
Really?
I demand a rematch. I demand satisfaction. We played on a little 5-man contest over there, and he just, to be sporting, he went with Mike Trout, and he bested me. I'm not happy about that. I'm a little sad. I got second. I won almost every other contest, but I got second in that one. So clearly I need a rematch. So we're going to throw this in the chat here. And since we're gentlemen, we will duel once again on FanDuel. But we'll throw that in the chat, and other people can jump in there with us. And we'll see. May the best EMac win. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
we'll see. I'll probably get 10th, but oh well.
Hey, you're going to have maybe, let's see. Maybe I'll join this. How much is this buying?
$10. It's 10 for 10. That was the first one I clicked on. I was trying to find a $5 one, but oh well.
Okay, I might join this if we still have time near the end of the show. That'll be a lot of fun.
All right.
Maybe I'll beat both of you.
Well, that could happen, and in that case, I'm sure that Hutch and I will agree that there needs to be a recount. There'd be a hanging chat or something in the transactional foreign currency exchange went awry. I don't know. We'll come up with good excuses if we need to. But today, Warren, we have a boatload of pitching. It's me, it's you, and it's almost Ace Day again.
It always is for us. Always. Even last year.
It's good times. Oh, speaking of last year, you realize I think it's next weekend will be 1 year that we've been doing the show.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but that's glad you marked that down. That's pretty cool. I don't remember the first show. Do you?
No, not really. I remember we did a couple practice shows, and then all of a sudden I think we did one practice show to see if we could get the technology to work, and then Dan asked us to do a real practice show, and then later that day he called us, or that night, and he said, "Yeah, you guys are going on in the morning."
Yeah.
I was just trying to find you. I didn't have your phone number. You weren't online at the time. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you watched the basketball game last night, but that sounds like what happened with Manu Ginobili and Greg Popovich. Popovich apparently just goes up to Ginobili 2 minutes before the game, and he says, "Yeah, we might need you to play point." And Ginobili just dropped his ball and looked at him as if to say, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Oh, Tony might be hurt. Okay, have a good one." And that's such a Popovich thing to do. But yeah, Dan Back was being our Greg Popovich there.
Indeed, he was. He is wise, and he is sage-like. But we got to focus on the games today. We got a lot to get through here. We're going to be referring to some DraftKings pricing, since that is our sponsor today. We will also be discussing plays across the industry, but we want to keep a special focus on DraftKings. If you'll notice, I'm not wearing my DraftKings hat. We need a little luck for the Nats. They could potentially sweep Texas.
Yeah, big deal.
That would be something.
They make 12 o'clock games on Saturdays.
Well, they do that. There was some. I was watching the game yesterday, and there was some interesting conversation by the announcers because they said that prior to Texas coming here to the D.C. area, they played in Minnesota, and when the Washington Senators left for the first time, or maybe it was Milwaukee, I forget which, they moved to the Midwest. They created a new team in Washington, called it the Senators again. Then they moved it to Texas. That became the Rangers, and now they're back here playing the former Montreal Expos. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but you Darvish, are you even messing around with him? He's so pricey. The win potentially could be in doubt today. The Nats are looking better. However, the Nats haven't seen him pitch. I think combined the Nats have about 8 plate appearances against him, which isn't surprising because they don't play Texas all that often. But it's an interesting spot. What are your thoughts on that? I don't have him anywhere, but I wanted to throw him out there because I know everybody likes to talk about Darvish, and I do also, just not today.
Okay, well, for starters, he's one of the best pitchers on the board today. But as you said, the win is definitely in question because you're on the road against a team looking for the sweep, and he's got a pretty crappy lineup behind him. Looks like no Shin-Soo Choo today, so definitely a little bit worried about Texas there. They don't look like a team that's going to give him much support today. But, on DraftKings, it's really a strikeout-dependent site. You need a pitcher who's going to go deep into the games. You need a guy who's going to strike guys out, and Darvish does that. He's got 71 in 61 innings, I believe, and yes, I am right. And he started 9 games and has 61 innings, so he's shown he can go deep into the games this year despite the walk problem. So I don't mind him, and he's obviously a great contrarian play because I think that the odds of him outperforming Chris Sale are a little bit better than the percentage own difference that you're going to see between the two. So I definitely don't mind Darvish today, but he's not my top choice for sure because I just think Sale at home against San Diego, you can't really find a better spot than that.
All right, sorry, I was just in chatting about crappy broadcasting announcers. We can all agree, though.
Hawk Harrelson.
Hawk Harrelson's not good, but Vin Scully, he has been broadcasting Major League Baseball for 65 years now. Did you know that?
Yeah, he actually called Mickey Mantle's first home run, I heard.
Oh, God.
Just puts perspective in it.
That is. Like, he's been calling games about as long as my dad's been alive.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, all right. Well, enough about that. Darvish, yeah, I don't know. I'm finding other spots, but I wanted to throw him out there because he's a popular pick. Chris Sale, probably my favorite option today. He's had a very nice return from the injured list. He only went 3 outings in his last start because of the rain delay, and he flipped spots with Jose Quintana since to kind of keep him on a regular workload schedule since it was so abbreviated. So I like him today. Padres not good on the road. Padres not good in general. Zach Greinke in the nightcap. Speaking of Vin Scully, we can. Well, I guess he won't be on Sunday Night Baseball. He should be, but.
He might announce the game to himself. He might not even know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He could be sitting there with a glass of scotch in his living room announcing it, and we won't know. But I like Greinke a lot. Pittsburgh, 29th with 3.08 runs per game on the road, Warren. That's not good. That's not good at all. Max Scherzer. I haven't seen a lot of people on Scherzer today. I was surprised. I was quickly poking around some of our other articles and a few other sites, and it didn't really jump out on a few or as much as I thought he would. He's in a good spot going against the Mariners, who are probably going to be without Robbie Cano. And then I think within that little spread, there's enough pitching that can kind of get you through most of what you need today. There's going to be some value bats out there. There'll be some punt catcher plays because it's Sunday fun day, and a lot of those guys had the late Saturday night game, so they won't be playing. The regulars won't be playing as many of them on Sunday. Cole Hamels, talk to me a little bit about Cole Hamels, and then flesh out any of those other picks that I was throwing out there.
Yeah, Hamels, I like his price on DraftKings. I don't know how much this matters really, but historically against the Mets, for whatever reason, he's just not very good, and that has continued into this year. 11 innings this year, he's already given up 7 earned runs, 15 hits, walks a lot of guys, and he's really been bad at home this year as well. And I have a feeling he's going to be a pretty popular pick, but I'm kind of staying away. I don't know. I just don't love it very much today. I think David Wright scares me a little bit, and I think that while he might get some run support, I could see this game turning into like a 5-4 type of game. And with pitchers, you need to, if you're going to spend $8,400 on Hamels, I'd rather you downgrade one of your kind of big name hitters and just spend on another big name pitcher, just to almost get the much higher percentage, because Greinke and Scherzer, guys that you've mentioned, they're not going to bust as much as a guy like Hamels will. And I know it's at home against the Mets, and I think a lot of people will be on him, but I don't know. It's just sort of more of a gut feeling. I just don't really like him today.
Yeah, I'm having second thoughts on him. In my initial lineup that I put out there sort of as my placeholder for DraftKings, I had him as my second pitcher. I'm on the fence. I suspect I'll have him on a few. That's the only side I'm playing him on is our sponsor, DraftKings. Really don't have him anywhere else. I thought the same thing because I like to pick on the Mets, but I was surprised that they have I think it was the active Mets roster is batting .297 against Hamels in about 200. I think it was 200 or 250 at bats. That's a pretty sizable beatdown sample size. So just be cautious. That was one name I saw popping on a lot of other recommended things this morning, and I just want to throw it out there for chat and for you guys. Just be aware. Who knows? We know about a third of the time pitchers kind of get roughed up. About a third of the time they have good outings. It's that middle third that's the difference. And the elite guys get, 7, 8 of them are pretty good outings. And the crappy guys, 8 or so are bad outings, and that's what makes them crappy. So you never know. You never know. What about Lester?
Yeah, Lester, did you see that Rays lineup today? It kind of changed my whole perspective on him.
I have not. I need to get that going.
Okay, well, I don't know who Jerry Sands is, but...
He's a former prospect for the Dodgers. I think he was like a first baseman or outfield. He has a boatload of power. He has a lot of holes in his swing, though.
Yeah, well, he is batting cleanup for Tampa today.
Ooh. Just
getting the recall. This is seemingly what they do all the time, putting guys who don't belong in the cleanup spot in the cleanup spot. Yeah, Zobrist back from the DL, which is nice. They definitely needed him back. If Escobar, who hits lefties very well, batting second, and Longoria, who's really not been the same hitter this year. And then, I don't know. I think Lester is a solid play. I just think that Tampa has just been so cold that you have to consider him. But if Tampa were hitting right now, which they aren't, this lineup would scare me a little bit more. But, at Fenway Park, good hitters park, I like Lester, but I just don't love him. He's more of a tournament play for me. You have to hope that the bad Rays continue to show up. And there has been a lot of animosity between these two teams in the series, so don't expect anyone on Tampa to just go up there and throw away at bats from frustration or anything. This is, if you know what I mean, usually a cold team, you see that a lot more than with a team that's really firing at all cylinders. But I think this will be a game where we see a few runs from both sides.
Yeah, Tampa Bay. Part of me wants to say always trust Joe Madden, but
yeah, I don't know anymore.
That's kind of a stretch. The guy he was batting cleanup previously, Logan Forsythe, in a few outings, he's batting ninth today. So I don't know that's neither here nor there. because I do think Madden is one of the better managers who really embraces the data that is available. But, Jerry Sands. I don't know. Maybe he's due. We'll see. I can't do it. 2.2 on FanDuel, though. That's one hell of a punt. Let's see. What about Tanner Roark? Texas without Chu?
Yeah, I mentioned that I don't think Texas is going to get much run support for Darvish, which is why I don't really love him, along with the fact that there is a certain guy named Chris Sale facing the worst team in the league, and literally everything adds up for Sale at Darvish's price point. But Roark is interesting because he doesn't really walk many guys, he doesn't give up many hits, he has a fair amount of strikeouts. He's kind of a decent pitcher facing a team that's really been kind of cold all year offensively. They're really missing a few of their key names from last year, including Fielder and Cruz and sorry, I'm getting confused. Fielder is on Detroit, but they're missing Nelson Cruz, I think, a lot. And yeah, I just don't think they're the same team right now, especially with the injuries. They're going to miss Chu a lot today. And yeah, Roark is not a bad pitcher on a multi-pitcher site.
Yes. He is 6,800 on our sponsor site. That's not too bad. Just again, if you're looking for differentiation, the win's going to be. I mean, the win's going to be tough to come by for him because he's got Darvish on the other side, but multi-pitcher side, I don't know. The win won't kill you if you don't get it on FanDuel, or on DraftKings. So we'll see. We'll see. Any other pitching you want to throw out there, Chad? If there's anybody in particular that we missed, please do let us know. Before we roll on into the bats here at Warren, let's say thank you, DraftKings, for sponsoring the show. I'm EMac. Out there in the daily fantasy world, we have Warren Kasoy, my counterpart, who is Billsfan777. What is the 777 for?
I don't know. I just made my name. I'm just a Bills fan and lucky number 7, I guess. I don't know. Honestly, it's no deeper meaning.
All right. So here we go. Chat does have one question. What about Kyle Loesch? Cubbies 21st in road scoring with 3.7 per game. They're batting .230 on the road.
Yeah, they're just not a very good team in general.
Except for yesterday.
Yeah. Hey, that helped me. Someone was chasing me down in one of those qualifiers for a GPP seat, and I needed Peralta to get roughed up, and Anthony Rizzo. Thank you for doing that. No one had you, and because of that, I could cheer for your home run. So, yeah, I don't mind Loesch at all at home. His only problem is he does give up a fair amount of home runs. And I'd actually, one guy that neither of us have mentioned, one guy who I actually really like at pitcher today, who I haven't really read anywhere, is Nathan Eovaldi. He's 7,300 on DraftKings. In 2 starts this year against Atlanta, he's given up 1 earned run in 13 innings, struck out a batter per inning. And he's had a couple off starts, and he was 10K like 2 starts ago, I believe, or 3 starts ago. He was 9,600 against the Padres, and he's come all the way down to 7,300 against a Braves team that is extremely, extremely strikeout prone. Really not much depth in that lineup at all. And Eovaldi really isn't a bad pitcher either at home. He's got an ERA of 2.5, so 7,300 is a really fair price for him, and it's one that I think that people are going to try to exploit.
Yes, I agree. And going against the Braves, always good. Catchers, Warren. My catcher of the day yesterday didn't play. It was going to be Sal Perez. I was all fired up to get him in the lineup, and he was not. And today, he's my number 1 catcher. I'm a little sad he's batting 6th. But he should be refreshed, and he is going against Mark Smoke and Mirrors Burley. Is this the day that Burley has a date with regression?
No, I like Burley. I mean, I don't think he's like that bad of a pitcher, and I know he doesn't strike.
Not a bad pitcher. Perfect game. No hitter to his credit. He pitches fast. Not fast speed, but time-wise.
He's in a rush. Yeah, last year against the Astros, he had a complete game shutout, and they were asking him why he had such a quick pace the whole game, and he said he was going to a concert with his mom after the game. It started at like 10 o'clock. So he finished the game, and I believe it was like an hour and 40 minutes. He was just pumping strikes in there, but he's really not that bad. I know he doesn't strike many guys out, and the Royals don't strike out much, but I mean, his FIP is like 3.5. He induces a fair amount of ground balls. I mean, I just don't think he's a bad pitcher, and I think he gets picked on too much. And another thing I like about him is that he holds runners on. So if you get on base against Burley, he's got the most pickoffs in the league since like 2010. So when you get a single, you're staying at first, and it's tough to manufacture runs when you can't create any off the base paths against a pitcher who's locked in like this right now.
Well, that's all right for me because Sal Perez is going to be hitting doubles. He's not going to need to steal bases.
Yeah, I don't mind Perez at all. I mean, Burley, part of his persona is he said he'd rather give up 2 hits than walk a batter. So he's the type, he's going to pitch to contact, and Sal Perez hits lefties well, good hitters park. And, hey, maybe the day off will help him. So I definitely like him there.
All right. Brian McCann going against Phil Hughes. Lefty-righty, even though Phil's has reverse splits. He sucks against lefties, too. What do you think?
We haven't talked about Hughes yet. How do you think that's going to go? His first start back at Yankee Stadium.
I thought he hasn't been back there yet, huh? I thought he did last year.
No, this is his first year with the Twins.
I think for old time's sake, his teammates are going to light him up just because they're used to seeing him get lit up when he's on the mound at Yankee Stadium. Now it's their turn.
Yeah, although the Yankees lineup is really, really, really depleted, but McCann is, he's batting cleanup, and he's been really good in his last 10 games, but overall he's still hitting like 230, OBP under 300. So it's not the same Yankees anymore, but I do like McCann today since he does have an OPS of close to 900 in his last 10. So I think that Hughes, it's tough for any pitcher who gives up fly balls to succeed in a park like this, especially with that short porch and right. And if you remember last year, Hughes' numbers were horrible at home, and they were actually decent like they are this year on the road. So I think that coming into Yankee Stadium, it's just a tough place to pitch. And I don't think the Yankee fans are going to forget who this guy is. I think they're going to let him know how they feel about him. What do you think?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. What about Mesoraco, the Reds?
I'm not a fan of
392 WOBA against lefties.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a fan of spending on catcher. I know he's been suddenly just turned into the best catcher offensively so far for the first 2 months this year. But I'd rather go cheap catcher because if Mesoraco has a bad game, I'm not worried about fading any of these other catchers, and I'd rather just go cheap and take whatever points I can get. And, I did that yesterday with Brett Hayes on Kansas City. I know zero about him, but he was 2,000, and he managed to hit an RBI single and get me 5 points. And at the end of the day, that's really all you need from your catcher, and it just opens up so much room. So I think going cheap is the way to go. I mean, if Mesoraco was mid-range or something, I'd be all over him, but he's just too much for me there. But I think Dioner Navarro's a nice play against Jeremy Guthrie. It's been almost half the show, and I haven't mentioned Jeremy Guthrie yet, so we have to catch up on all our Blue Jays.
Yes. I'll probably be punting today with JP Arancibia, I think.
Oh, wow.
No, he's not even playing. I just, for tradition's sake, have to bring him up when you...
He never plays. Because he sucks. Even Ron Washington knows that.
All right. Let's see. Oh, back to pitching quickly. I told Chat we'd circle back. We missed Scherzer. Or I don't know that we missed him. There are so many options today. We only have such limited time. But, yeah. I'm just sorry, not Scherzer. Sam Ardilla, the Shark.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Ethan's tournament links page, and it's a little distracting. I'm going to put that in there for chat so they know why I got a little carried away there. Anyway, so talk to us a little bit about the Shark.
Well, he's in typical Cubs fashion. He has an ERA of 1.68 and only 1 win based on no run support. So he's been great all year. He strikes guys out. He's keeping the ball in the yard. He's not walking as many guys this year, and it's been very good. And the Brewers just got shut down yesterday by Chase and Hamill. Now, my problem with Sam Ardigia is that he usually doesn't go past the 6th or 7th inning. He'll have the occasional start, like he did against the White Sox, where he goes deep into the games, but usually it's 6 innings, 7 innings, and it's not bad. It's just a tough place to pitch in Milwaukee, and if this game was at Wrigley, I may change my mind, but it's not, so that's kind of irrelevant. So I like him, I don't love him.
All right. Well, chat was giving me crap for not saying his name right, so I'm just going to say I put the link in chat there. You got to look at that, and now you know why I was a little. I still got it on the screen. I'm going to close that window, but yeah, it's good times. Hey, anyway, I was looking for a link on our sponsor DraftKings. We had the Showcase Showdown last night. Bob Barker was not there, but do you know who was? Do you know who won it?
I believe it was Dirty Girl or something.
Dirty Girl, whoop-de-doo, beep, I'm a Jeep. It was a three-way tie for the many-personaed
Really?
Yes. Well, that's the names he uses on different sites.
Oh, okay.
It's a secret, but not really a secret. Yeah, rolled 117 points. Took down 100K. And then our own buddy STL Cards was in last through the first part of the games because he had Willie Peralta. Not good. So he went with a zigzag. He went and studied the pitching and said, you know what, I bet nobody has Chris Young when he took him. And he improved his fortune by about $15,000 by doing that.
Yeah, that's a smart tactic. I mean, I wouldn't have moved to Chris Young. I would have just tried to hope that my team, gets me any sort of money because I actually thought a Tiger stack would have been the way to go last night if I did play. But yeah, I mean that takes a lot of guts, and you have to realize the competition you're in, and realize that if maybe he didn't take a chance, he might have ended up being near last because everyone else might have had the other pitcher, the other popular pitcher at the late slate. So definitely a good idea.
All right, back to catching. Anybody else out there? I see Jose Molina is our 1.9K punt on DraftKings going against Leicester. I might look for a different dog with fleas on that one. There's a few other cheap players already announced out there. LaStella, that's a guy I didn't know much about. Tommy LaStella. He had a pretty good game yesterday, and he's 2K today going lefty-righty matchup against Eovaldi. You have to consider him at second base. There's a lot of good second base options, though.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk first base first.
Okay.
Then you can tell me all about LaSella since I don't know much about him. First base, I said it yesterday. I'm going to say it again today. Edwin Encarnacion, Adam Lind.
Yeah,
Warren's going to go.
I'm going to hop on the Lind sanity train. I'm on him again today. He's absolutely locked in this year against righties, and Guthrie's splits are so extreme righty to lefty that I think that Lind, I'd even play him if he was more expensive than Encarnacion today, and he's just cheap everywhere. So he's the first guy in my lineups, to be honest.
I agree. That was awesome yesterday. That helped me sweep my morning games. Hutch, you didn't play me in the morning games. I would have taken you down there. Adrian Gonzalez, Sunday Night Baseball. Little Edison Volquez. Edison Volquez is bad.
Yeah,
very bad.
He's bad. But the one concern here, obviously I'd expect him to play at Sunday Night Baseball. There's no reason for him not to, but if he doesn't play, you're kind of screwed on DraftKings. But you can switch him out, but once the 8 o'clock game strikes, you're probably switching him to Ike Davis or whoever his fill-in is. So he'll probably play. I'm not worried. I'm just saying that I never like the feeling of taking a guy and knowing I have no insurance if he isn't in the lineup.
Billy Butler. Billy. Are you on Billy today? You off him?
I'm not going to start recommending Royals at every position. I think Burley continues to pitch well.
That is my last Royal. I have 2 today.
It's your last one, you promise?
I promise.
Okay, but he's 4,000 and he has 10 extra base hits and it's already June, so I don't know. He has a .313 slugging percentage all year. He's hitting the ball well in Toronto, but all he's getting is singles, and some of them should be doubles. He just takes so long to run to first base that by the time he gets there, most other guys would be at second, but that just makes him boring. I don't know. No upside.
All right. Chris Davis? Any interest there?
Yeah,
Scotty Feldman, not good.
Yeah, Davis is pretty cheap too, and he's in I believe it's the number 2 ranked park for left-handed batters. So Davis, he's not the same guy he was last year yet, but he'll get it going. He's got way too much power in that bat, and right now I'd actually label him more as a tournament play until he starts getting on one of those home run streaks that we were accustomed to last year, seemingly like every month.
Yeah, I miss those days. Let's see. Anybody else at first base? I mean, you got Freddie Freeman as an option. We threw out Anthony Rizzo. There's a few choices out there at first base. Jerry Sands, if you want to get crazy. That's about it. Let's talk second base. You know who my sneaky second base guy is, Warren? Daniel Murphy of the Mets.
Lefty.
I know. He's actually played very well in his career against Hamels. And the Roto-Grinder steals predictor, even though it's lefty-lefty, likes him for a steal today. Do you know why? Who's behind the plate? We didn't mention him, but Chooch, Carlos Ruiz, who has caught 8 of 41 base stealers. I like those odds.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know. I don't really like Murphy very much. He's just a bit too expensive for me. Facing a lefty, and it's, as you said, it's tough to run on lefties. And I know Chooch is back there, but I'm curious if there's a number to how many steals have been made against Hamels when he's on the mound. So
I was trying to find
steals. Yeah, I was trying to find. There's Gordon.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you there. I was trying to find that
That's
number.
Okay.
I couldn't figure it out on Fangraphs. Fangraphs can be a little confusing if you don't know what you're trying to do.
Let's see. A lot of numbers and stuff.
Speaking of steals, did you know that D. Gordon's 34 steals on the year would rank him 13th if he was his own team?
Really? That's pretty cool. But, yeah, he didn't get a steal last night, and the team scored 12 runs, but he did hit a triple. So when he's getting on base, he's either hitting for extra bases. I mean, when he hits one near the gap and he's on my team, I almost hope for him to stop at first so he can steal second. And I'm being serious because it's literally like almost automatic that he's going to be running. You have Edinson Volquez, who allowed 24 steals last year, only one so far this year. But, you know, D. Gordon is not going to be scared of anybody. He just runs the second he gets on base. And, yeah, he's only 4,000 more than Murphy. So I think that's much better option. And Ian Kinsler against Rowanus Elias, definitely like him, lefty-righty matchup there. Pedroia against Bedard, don't mind that. But my only problem with that is that you look at the prices on these guys and consider the power upside at a position where there really isn't much power. And if Kinsler was, say, an outfielder, or Pedroia was, would you ever consider using them at that price?
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you consider everything, but no, I don't think I would.
Yeah, like that's the problem with these guys. They're just so priced up, and that's good on DraftKings. It makes it a lot more difficult to make a good team. So I'm generally of the mindset of punting second base, and I did that yesterday with some success with Tommy LaStella. Looked him up before the game. I saw he walks more than he strikes out in the minors. It's something like 350 last year. I could be wrong, but I know I was happy with the numbers I was seeing. And he is the un-Dan Uggla. He is just the complete opposite. Very little power and no strikeouts. But I much prefer that than Uggla. I'd rather take my 4 to 5 points that he can provide me on a night and spend at other positions. So I think that's the way to do it on DraftKings.
All right, a couple other options out there. Brandon Phillips, he's batting third. He's kind of underpriced. Kipnis, back from injury. The pricing model's just, I don't know. He seems just underpriced on a lot of places. And your guy, the oil worker, the stinker.
Who's this?
Rougned Odor.
Yeah, that's a great name. Is he in the lineup today?
That is a good question. Let's see. They're playing the vaunted Washington Nationals, and he is not in the lineup. Luis Sardinas is in. So
Yeah, Sardinas isn't bad either. I know Ron Washington likes the two of them. He pretty much plays them every other day. And that's another guy you can use to punt. I know he's got a bit of speed, but again, don't expect much when you're taking these guys. Just expect or hope for, a hit. Anything, honestly, anything they do is bonus because you can win with a 0. I won with a 0 yesterday. Anthony Ghost got me a big bagel, including a double play with the bases loaded. So it's going to happen sometimes, but it just opens up so much flex and cap room that I think spending on the top second baseman who could just as easily get a 0 is just a bit of a mistake to me. Except for D. Gordon, because he's not getting 0, especially if he gets on base.
Yeah, not this year anyway. Not this year. All right, third base. We got get a little pep in our step here. We got 20 minutes left, 2 positions. We're gonna get some questions. We're gonna do a pick 5. We're gonna do rapid fire max. We got a lot to do here, Warren. Guess who I'm gonna talk about at third base? My new favorite guy that I can't quit. Now, one time I thought I was all good with my man crushes once Prince Fielder and I broke up, but there's a new little burning in my heart for a certain third baseman. Can you guess who that is, Warren? He had 5 extra base hits in the month of May. 5.
5. Only 5? It's not that many.
Joe Madden likes him.
Evan Longoria. Oh, no. Is this the new guy?
This is the new guy, damn it, and I can't stop. I can't quit him.
Oh, God. You can quit him. Just think about how terrible he is and don't play him.
Well,
you can do it.
I don't know. So I think I might be running solo with him today because 1 extra base hit a week, that is not good. But if you wanted some real...
He's due.
Well, it's June, so that was my analysis this morning. It's now June. The month of May is behind us. It's all good. But Juan Francisco kind of hooked me up yesterday.
Me too. The Wandong. It was the first time I used him as a J. I turned a blind eye to his strikeout problems and said, you know what, Aaron Brooks is not striking anybody out today. And Juan Francisco is going to get a hold of one. He actually got a hold of a couple deep doubles, but nothing over the fence. And I think he's in a similar spot today. Jeremy Guthrie doesn't strike out left-handed batters, so that kind of takes away from his strikeout problem, and we know how far Francisco can hit one when he makes contact. So he's actually got 3 home runs and 6 at-bats against Guthrie as well. So not that really influences my picks at all, but it just shows that he's had similar success against this guy and 6 at-bats for what it's worth. So I love him. Miggy Cabrera is on one of his streaks right now where he's a very fun guy to spend on because he's so expensive that not many people are going to do it. But when Mickey gets on a streak like this, it's very, very tough to ignore. And we're seeing balls flying out of the park every night. Multi-hit games, walks, extra base hits. He's just pretty much doing everything and facing a lefty now who he's just absolutely off the charts against in the last 2 years. So definitely like Miggy. I know he's extremely expensive, but if you can find a way to work him in, I mean, if you're going to spend at second base, don't downgrade your second baseman and upgrade a third baseman at Miggy or something. So I think that's the way to do it there. And
can you give me a cheaper option? An under-owned guy batting cleanup with 1,000 OPS over the last 10 games?
An under-owned guy? Let me think. Is it Panda?
Plays for the Indians?
Oh, Lonnie Chisenhall.
See, look! He's one of your favorite plays, and even you forgot him.
Yeah.
Sneaky.
I always recommend Chisenhall, and I forgot. Yeah, I mean, he was 2,900 last week, I believe, and he was just like 100% owned, and for good reason. He's finally turning into the hitters that the Indians are expecting him to become. Yeah, he's pretty much got a 1,000 OPS all year, 978. We'll just round up and give him the benefit of the doubt there.
Let's see, Carpenter, my cash game play extraordinaire. I'm not alone in that. Adrian Beltre gets a nice little righty-righty matchup. He's pretty elite in same-handed matchups. And Yangevis Solarte. I know I'm not saying his first name right, so we'll just say Solarte. Guess who Solarte is going against, Warren?
Phil Hughes.
Phil Hughes. We're going to pick on Phil Hughes today. It's a good thing to do.
Yes.
But that kind of rounds out my third baseman. Anybody else there? That's a lot of choices.
Yeah, there's a bunch that we listed. You mentioned Longoria, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to pretend I don't like it at all, but I actually don't hate him against a lefty, and now you're going to go on your DraftKings and switch him onto every lineup because you got the approval from someone else. Maybe Casey McGee. I mean, we haven't talked about Aaron Harang. I really don't believe in this guy at all, and the Marlins lit him up for 9 runs, I believe. So McGee, if he's in the lineup, I haven't seen it yet. He should be batting cleanup like always, so he's definitely not a bad option.
All right.
And David Wright versus Cole Hamels. It's pretty much the reason I'm fading him.
You'd go with David Wright, huh?
Yeah. In tournaments. More of a tournament play, in my opinion.
All right. Shortstop. I got 2. Jose Reyes and Xander Bogaerts. That's it.
Yeah, I'm on board with both of those, but I think Bogaerts is the better deal on DraftKings. You look at his last week or so, and he's just been tearing the cover off the ball, hitting for power, extra bases. And Eric Bedard in Toronto, he did not look good at all. He was leaving pitches out over the middle of the plate, and I believe he gave up like 13 hits in the start. So definitely someone I'm going to be targeting. Bogaerts, .562 slugging in his last 10, 5 doubles, a home run. So definitely someone I'm considering.
All right, we're gonna go to the handy dandy Roto-Grinders lineup page because I need to find myself another second baseman, probably another shortstop. So you can go into our lineups page that Riley created for us. You can click on the tab that says DraftKings. You can click on the position to the left for shortstop, and I'm going to put in a 3. And let's see. Oh, well, there we go. Eduardo Escobar. Interesting. That may be my punt play. That looks like the only cheapie there on DraftKings at the moment. So, Warren, talk to me about Escobar. I want to see you go next level. I don't even know who it is.
I'm not someone who can go next level really on a guy like this, but I can tell you that I actually rostered him a few days ago and put together some good at-bats, and I was actually casually watching a baseball game while I was eating my lunch a few days ago, and I believe the Twins were playing Texas, and Escobar had the bases loaded, and he hit a line shot, and guy caught it at first base and then threw out the runner at second. It was one of those lined into a double plays. So, if that gets through, his last 10 games look a lot more appealing to people. He's cheap. He's facing an inexperienced pitcher, and he's a switch hitter. So you can't really just bring in a lefty or a righty to counter his skill. And, he's hitting the ball really well, so you have to give him credit so far this year.
All right. You say you can't go next level yet. You had a personal experience with the guy. There you go.
I do, yes.
All right, Warren. Let's go outfielders. Let's finish strong. We got a dozen minutes to go here. I can see questions adding up here. I'm going to say it real quick so we can move on quickly. Melky Cabrera and Jose Bautista. Take them. All right. Pick other outfielders to talk about.
Melky, obviously a great play.
No. You got to pick other outfielders, Warren.
But you just don't want to let me talk about the Blue Jays. Is that how this is
We're
going right now?
We're running out of time here. I'll talk about other outfielders. I got a whole bunch of them for you. Carlos Gonzalez, Michael Steyer, Charlie Blackmon, and Corey Dickerson. Start them all.
Okay. Well, you can't since those are 4 and you only get 3 positions. But start 3 of those 4 if you're going to. But, yeah, Marlon Byrd, definitely like him against John Neese. Another Phillies righty, 2,700. John Mabry Jr. He's got a lot of power, career 370 WOBA against lefties. And the Red Sox, they seem to have been awoken. David Price seems to have awoken the sleeping beast. And Johnny Gomes at 3,300. He is someone who bats in the middle of the lineup against lefties, hits for some nice power, and he's someone I definitely like. Hawk Harrelson, probably his favorite player and probably my favorite nickname an announcer has ever dropped on a player is Diane Viciato. Huck Harrelson just calls him Tank for some reason. Apparently he's a tank, but he's not actually that great. But he is very good against lefties. Eric Stultz is horrible. We have not mentioned Eric Stultz once, but he's someone that you should definitely be targeting against. So I like all those guys. Who did I miss? I'm just rapid fire going through everything here.
Well, I probably want to mention some Miami Marlins, maybe a little Christian Yelich. I'm calling for a Giancarlo Stanton home run today. Am I crazy?
Yeah. Stanton hits a home run every day.
Okay.
So you're not crazy.
Validation. I'm just running through the rest of these here. I didn't hear you talk about him. I'm sad. Jacoby Ellsbury, Brett Gardner. Maybe.
They're too expensive on DraftKings. I mean, if their price was reasonable, I like them like as a matchup. But Ellsbury is $5K, and I want someone who has more than like 10 extra base hits all year at that price.
How about Yasiel Puig, Andre Ethier, and Matt Kemp? Now, here's where you want to be careful, gamers. If you're not playing a late swap slate like our sponsor DraftKings, be careful with Puig. He tweaked his ankle yesterday on a throw or something. They were fitting him for a brace. He stayed in the game. Just be careful. You don't want to be caught out on an island on Sunday Night Baseball. You'll have other people to pivot to, but you might be holding some extra salary if you do that. We'll probably know a little later in the day if he's going to be announced. So if you're playing late slates or late swaps, you're fine. But if you're locking in an all-day slate right now on FanDuel, I wouldn't put him in there because like look at Mike Trout. That you don't want something like that to happen. So just want to throw that out there. But I like Ethier a lot. I don't know why. Probably because he's cheap still because he's a platoon hitter. But he'll be on a few of my teams. Matt Kemp, I'm on the fence on. I played him everywhere last night. That was good, but I don't know. I don't know if he's got two of them in a row.
He's just been bad this year. He's just not the same player he was. And yeah, I'm just not really interested in rostering him unless he's dirt cheap. I saw he was $4K on Draft Street. That's a great price for Kemp. That's where I'd consider using him if you want the exposure.
He's really cheap on Fantasy Feud also, or he was. I think he was like 50 or 60K on there last night, which a good outfielder is going to be 90. So I thought that was a pretty good price.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a little questions here. Chat, queue up some more. Then we're going to do Rapid Fire Max, Pick 5. Agon and Cruz or Miggy and Hayward. I'm going to go with Agon and Cruz. Nelson Cruz is awesome.
Yeah, I like the first combo for sure.
Okay.
Agon Cruz.
Let's see. What do you think the odds are of San Diego getting to Sale?
It depends what you mean by getting to them.
More than 3 earned runs.
Like 10%, maybe 15%.
What do you think about Mike Olt?
Maybe. I don't know. If you guys have any questions about Mike Olt, you guys can tweet at Stevie. I know he has a strong opinion about that guy.
All right.
Not sure if you remember what happened last week.
I know he had to take some Twitter hate. Mesoraco and Arcia.
Yeah, he deserved it.
All right, Mesoraco and Arcia, or Carlos Corcoran and Jose Bautista. Ooh, I'm gonna go Jose and Corcoran.
The Bautista combo, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Elevated
so the person
Nick
asked about Olds. Oh, yeah.
Elevated Nick says he's against Lind. Are you gonna stand for that, Warren? As a Canadian, are you going to stand for that?
Against Lynn or Lind?
Lind. He's not going to take him.
Well then, that's not very smart, in my opinion. I think you have probably the best WOBA matchup on the day, and a guy who's absolutely on fire. So, honestly, fade at your own risk.
All right.
It's not like you can't find other good first basemen with power, but like, this is your perfect cash game play, and he's cheap.
And he's a Blue Jay, which makes Warren happy. Hamels and Gomes.
That too.
Hamels and Gomes, or Eovaldi and Viciato. I'm gonna go Eovaldi and Viciato because I'm I'm nervous about Hamels. I may have to take him out of my DraftKings cash games.
Yeah.
I'll run Hamels in one set. I usually run 2 or 3 sets. I try to do different sets at the different pricing levels. Just I don't know because I'm an idiot, but I'll have him on part of it. Chisenhall or Juan Francisco? Warren. Well, I guess I'm going solo here. Sounds like Warren may have lost his way. But that's all right. We'll see if we can't get him back on the show. Hopefully I am still broadcasting. And we'll just resend old Warren the invite just in case he lost that also. So I'm going to just ask the question in chat. Am I still going? Let me know. So we were just goofing around asking some questions there in chat, which I can do by myself because I will just ask and answer them. It didn't look like there were that many left. But we have Xander Bogaerts and Devin Mesoraco or Hanley and Sal Perez. I'm leaning Hanley and Sal Perez. I think that would be a good way to go. And let's see here. I bet it's Warren's EMac or stuff. I'm going to see if I can get one other person to jump on here. But we're almost done with the show, so fire up a few more questions here, and I will gladly help out and answer those. And give me one moment. And Ethan, this one's coming at you, so jump on that one if you get it. All right, we're going to look at the questions here. And that's it? Harang or Chassin? Don't play either one of them. Harang and Chassin, not good. Unpaid Bills fan, yes, I would agree that is probably an issue.
I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. Well, we got a 3-man booth going on here, so let's have some fun with this.
Oh, is this Ethan?
We have secret special guest Ethan. This is a good time. Ethan, what's going on?
Fair warning, I did not expect this at all, so...
There we go. Who looks more tired? Ethan? Warren? It's not
definitely not me.
I already walked to the grocery store. I just rubbed my eyes because I needed to look more awake when you decided to spontaneously call me.
All right. Well, there we go. See, this is just how we are. So, what's the deal? Star Street doesn't have a pick 5 up. Don't they know that there's Sunday Fun Day baseball games to be had?
Is there a recent scratch they would have pulled it down for?
Not that I'm aware of. That is a good point. So we'll see. Jack can let us know in that. But, well, let's finish off the show with a 3-way decision on the Rapid Fire Max. The tiebreaker will go with who we're entering. Just for fun, we're going to do 22 to win the big one. So our first options, we will have Ethan say his, then Warren, and then I'll go. Adam Lind versus Carlos Gonzalez.
Gonzalez, without a doubt.
Lind. Lind without a doubt.
That's absurd.
I'm going with Carlos Gonzalez. There's your tiebreaker.
You have one player that's an all-star and one that's just like a swing-or-miss power hitter.
But he plays
for
Toronto.
Miss.
He plays for Toronto.
He's a mediocre hitter.
He's hitting like 360.
Yeah, he's a mediocre hitter for his career.
Okay. Point over. I'm the moderator. We're done. But we got another Colorado and another Toronto Blue Jay with Edwin Encarnacion versus Troy Tulowitzki.
Tulo.
Encarnacion.
I'm going Encarnacion also. Warren, you're such afraid of your own team.
He was so mad that I was going to pick Tulo that he tried to beat me to it.
No.
There you go.
I got a tweet thanking me last week for going perfect in the pick 5. So.
All right. Charlie Blackmon, Jacoby Ellsbury.
Ooh. I guess Ellsbury.
Blackmon, because it'll be a cold day in hell when I ever pick Jacoby Ellsbury to do anything.
Tiebreaker goes to Jacoby Ellsbury. Okay. Brian McCann or Justin Morneau?
What is with all these Rockies?
It's just like
every match.
CSU Ram get rehired by Star Street or something.
He's on draft day now. Yeah. This is how they're announcing it.
I think Pete.
Okay, well, I think he got hired there or something, but I'm gonna go Morneau.
I'll go first, and I'll go with McCann.
All right, I'm going with McCann also. Warren, you're on the losing end of this one again. So the last one we've got Dustin Pedroia, who had a bruised hand last night, or Evan, I can't get an extra base hit to save my life, Longoria.
I'm going to go Pedroia.
I'm going Longoria, so you guys fight this one out.
No, I'm sticking Pedroia too, because I mean you got just a better matchup. I mean, at the end of the day, I'd rather face Eric Bedard than John Lester. I think most people could agree with that.
Yeah, so we agreed 1 out of 5 with your Red Sox second baseman.
So I don't know. Maybe you guys shouldn't play this for big money, but if you are going to play it, we have Cargo, E5, Ellsbury, McCann, and Pedroia. An exciting way to finish up our show. Warren, any words on Coco Crisp?
No, I just have a disclaimer that I don't agree with 4 of those picks. But
all right,
anyway, I'm in the minority.
Well, then you guys know how to do it. Reverse.
Duly noted, Warren. Duly noted.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that we note that down for when we go 5 for 5, that Warren did not want anything to do with this.
Indeed. All right. There's 34 minutes here before lock. There is a fair amount of overlay sitting on our sponsor site, DraftKings. If you got a little extra $200 in your pocket, burning a hole, there's 120 spots left in the perfect game. The high heat has some room in it, and there are a bunch of other GPPs at varying price points. I'm sure there is one that is good for you. So with that, I would like to thank DraftKings for sponsoring our show. I would like to definitely blame Canada for their internet service. I would like to thank Ethan for coming on and helping out in our moment of need, these trying times. And I'd like to say, why did we have to go old school? We used to have production until apparently they're afraid to work with me anymore. So with that, I'm going to say I'm sad. I hate technology. Technology hates me right back. Good luck.